States 280, what are we looking at on your first page?
That's just the title page of the PowerPoint.
Second page, if you could tell us, line 1 where my finger is, can you read it or do I need to give you a copy of it? Up
I
there?
can read it.
You can read it, great. If you could tell us, first of all, what was the time of Laken's last outgoing communication from her phone?
It was the 911 call.
Okay. Before the 911 call.
It was a text message to her mother.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak into the microphone.
It was a text message
Okay, a text message to who?
to her mother.
At what time?
At 8:55.
Okay, and do we see that here where my pen is?
Yes.
And what is the text?
It says, "Good morning, about to go for a run. If you're free to talk."
And did she in fact call her mother?
She did.
At what time?
At 9:03:44.
And between 9:03 and 9:11, is there any activity in her phone?
No.
Okay. At 9:11, what happens?
She makes a 911 call.
All right, and we heard about that already yesterday, about the SOS function, so I'm not going to ask you about that. So it looks like though your next page is about the 911 call, correct?
Correct.
All right. And did 911 in fact call her back?
They did.
How many times?
Twice.
What is the last text message that was read on her phone?
It was at 9:02 a.m.
And her phone was locked. Tell us a little bit about that. What time was it locked?
It was locked at 09:03:57, which was immediately after she made the phone call to her mother.
All right. And after the 9:03 phone call to her mother, the next activity is a 911 call
Correct.
that we've discussed. And then you have that the phone was not unlocked again until forensically analyzed. What do you mean by that?
She never unlocked her phone through facial recognition again until we obtained that phone that night.
And extracted data from the phone?
Correct.
What time were the 2 911 calls incoming to her after she called 911?
One was at 09:12 and 21 seconds and 09:12 and 39 seconds.
Were either one of those calls from 911 into Laken Riley's phone answered?
No.
At some point, did she get a incoming call at 9:24?
She did.
And who was that incoming call from?
Her mother.
Is that call answered?
No.
Is she then receiving texts from her family members?
Correct.
What are the time of those texts? First one down here at the bottom.
9:37:38.
And what is the text? Who is it from?
Her mother.
And the content?
Call me when you can.
Is that text read or returned?
It's not read.
9:51 a.m.
She receives a call from her mother.
Is that call answered?
It is not.
9:53 a.m.
She received another call from her mother.
Is that call answered?
It is not.
9:58 a.m.
She received a text message from her mother saying, "You're making me nervous, not answering while you're out running. Are you okay?"
Is that text read?
It is not.
Is that text answered?
It is not.
Next call at 11:04 a.m. incoming from whom?
From her mother.
Is that call answered?
It is not.
11:12 a.m.
She received a call from her mother.
Is that call answered?
It is not.
11:19 a.m. an incoming call from who?
From her sister.
Is that call answered?
No.
11:47 a.m. incoming text.
From her mother says, "Please call me. I'm worried sick about you."
Is that is that text read?
It is not.
Is that text responded to?
It is not.
12:07 p.m.
She received a phone call from her mother that was not answered.
12:20 p.m.
She received a phone call from her stepfather that was not answered.
And finally, were you able to determine when she was on her run if she was listening to music on her phone?
Yeah, she was listening to Spotify.